Do that.
1 Kings 8 and 47.
1 Kings chapter 8, verse 47.
This is why we're up here. You know what I'm saying? I got it.
And this is what we're up here, man. This is what we're up here, bringing out this true word.
That's right.
The true gospel. Not a sermon that revolves around 2 or 3 scriptures. Giving you what you want. We're going to bring you the word. Nah, man. We're not going to go here and sing it like a preacher, man.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Let the blood cleanse you.
Make sure you put your tithe in. Your 10%. Or the Most High is going to judge you for not giving you 10% of your tithe to the church.
Creflo Dollar got a cash out.
You got these wicked pastors amidst of everything that's going on with the churches being closed, telling you, make sure you put your tithes to Cash App. That is wicked, man.
Wicked.
That is wicked. Where's your faith at, man? Where are all those pastors that are healing the people, touching them in the forehead?
Drive up confession. They got drive up confession.
Where they at? Now they don't want to touch it because they're scared of this whole coronavirus crap, man.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you.
Where's your pastor to give you that blessing to anoint you with his hand?
Drive-through confessional with the blindfold.
Yeah, that's right too, man. They're doing drive-through confessionals, man.
Well, you know that you're supposed to only talk to the Most High.
Yeah, you got a priest, you got a bunch of cars, a bunch of dummies lined up in the parking lot with a priest, and you're confessing your sins to a priest. When the Most High clearly says you gotta confess your sins straight to the Father.
God.
Not to the pedophile father. Not to those priests. You do nothing but molest little boys, man. Wicked, man.
I got his reset.
But we're here to bring you the truth, man. And we're not here to spare any emotions either, man.
That's right.
We're here to tell it like it is. We're crying aloud and we're sparing not, man.
That's right.
Bring it up.
This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 8, verse 47. Yet, if they shall bethink themselves in the land whither they were carried captives, and repent, and make supplications unto thee in the land of them that carried them captives, saying, we have sinned, and have done perversively. We have committed wickedness, and so return unto thee with all their heart, and let them away captives, and pray unto thee towards the there which hast thou chosen, in the house which I have built for thy name.
That's right.
Being captives that we were, man. Being wicked as hell, man. All the Most High is doing is telling us to come back to his ways.
That's right.
To stop being in the midst of sin, read.
Then hear thou thy prayer and supplication in heaven, in thy dwelling place, and maintaining their cause. And forgive thy people that have sinned against thee, and all their transgressions wherein they have transgressed against thee, and giving compassion before them who carry them captives, that they may have compassion on them.
The Most High wants you to come back to his law, statutes, and commandments, man. So you're not caught up in the midst of sin. So you're not caught up in the wickedness, man. You need to get it together, Israel. And we're over here worried about what we're going to do for Easter. This whole lockdown, I can't be with my family. We can't do this big gathering. For the first time in our lives are interrupted because of this, man. Let's continue on Easter right now, man. Let's go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 7, and start at verse 3.
Bring it out.
And let's see who Easter is. Read.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 7, verse 3. And Samuel spake unto all the house of Israel.
No, he spake to all the other nations.
And Samuel spake unto all the house of Israel.
No, he only spoke to the white man.
And Samuel spake unto all the house of Israel, saying, if ye do return unto the Lord,
if we come back to the Most High God, read.
If you do return unto the Lord with all your hearts, then put away the strange gods and Ashtoreth from among you, and prepare your hearts unto the Lord, and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the hands of the Philistines.
He said we need to stop following strange gods.
That's right.
Because there's only one God, and that is the Most High God of Israel.
Yahweh. Ba'ashem
That's
Yahweh.
So his name is Jehovah. But we're over here following Ashtoreth, Ishtar, aka Semiramis,
That's right.
aka the Queen of Heaven.
That's right.
Bring it out.
But y'all want to be stuck in these fairy tales that your modern day preacher teaches you, man. Let's go to the Alexander Van Vick Dictionary and look up the definition of the Queens of Heaven. Look it up, bro.
Too smart, I can't read it.
What is it?
Queen of Heaven.
Queen of Heaven.
Yeah. And the Alexander Van Bible Dictionary is a dictionary that was put together by scholars, by those who know this truth. But they don't want to tell you this truth, man, because they want to keep you asleep. Even your pastor knows this, going through theology school. But he only wants to give you that feel-good message.
God.
He wants to give you them smooth, sweet words. It's okay, you can celebrate Easter. Make sure I get a little piece of that Easter ham. I'm coming over.
Queen of Heaven.
Queen of Heaven. Come on, brother, be quick with that sword, man.
Perfect.
Read that. This is the definition of the Queen of Heaven in the Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary, right?
Queen of Heaven, female deity to whom priestly Hebrew women made offerings. The most likely identification is Ashereth, goddess of love and fertility.
Goddess of what? I thought the goddess of what? Read it again.
The most likely the identification is Ashereth, goddess of love and fertility, synonymous with the Assyrian and Babylonian Ishtar and the Roman Venus.
That all stems out from the Roman Catholic Church too, man. That's what they've been teaching you all of that, man. Christianity stemmed out of the Roman Catholic system, man.
All those religions.
All those religions.
God.
Seventh-day Adventist, Baptist, Presbyterian,
God.
Protestant.
Pentecostal, Protestant churches. They all stem from that. It makes no difference. We are not a religion. This is a heritage that was given to us.
That's right.
And because of the curses of Deuteronomy, and because of the curses of Deuteronomy, we will forget our ways. And now that we are walking to this truth, we are here to do the job to wake you up, Israel, to celebrate Easter. Because it says it's a female deity to whom priestly Hebrew women made offerings. Since when did the men allow women to do offerings, man? A man is supposed to take the lead.
God.
Let's get the book of Jeremiah 7 and 18. We're going to find that out right now, man. We're giving you a history lesson. And if we're about to do this every year, until you get it right, then that's what we're going to do, man. Then that's what we're going to do.
Tell them what the Shabbat. 7 and 18.
Look it up.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 18. The children gather wood, and their fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to their queen of heaven.
Make what?
To make cakes to the queen of heaven.
They're making those little cakes with little crosses on them, man, which represent Tammuz. Get the book of Jeremiah 44. Because we're gonna see what these women were doing too as well. And where were the men at, man? Y'all supposed to take the lead. Y'all supposed to take the lead, man. The order starts in the house. Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 15. Read it slow, brother.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 44, Verse 15. Then all men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto their gods,
The men knew that these were what their wives were doing. Read.
and all women that stood by a great multitude,
They stood by a great multitude. Read.
even all the people that dwell in the land of Egypt and Patros, answered Jeremiah, saying, As for the word that has spoken unto us in the name of the Lord,
The words that were coming out in the name of the Most High God. Read.
he will not hearken unto thee.
We're not going to listen to it. Despite this word come out, we're going to do it. That's wicked, man. These women saying, yo, we do whatever the hell that we want to do. We don't care about the word of God. That's what they're saying. Man, and where were these men to actually put these women in check, man? Because women are supposed to be submissive to their husbands, right?
Con.
They were out of order. Even though the word was coming out in the name of the Most High God, they were saying, we don't care. We're going to do whatever proceeds out of our mouth. We do what the hell we want. That's what they were saying, read.
But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth. Shalaki. To burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out
To what?
to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven,
No, burn incense to the Most High God.
to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her as we done. We have, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, in the city of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem, for we had plenty of victuals, and were well and sought no evil.
They had plenty of victuals and they had no evil. Read.
But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven,
Listen to this. This is the consequence for that. Read.
and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. And
What was that? What was the consequence of that?
and to pour out drinks offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. And then, and when we burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and pour out drink offerings unto her, then we make her cakes to worship her, and to pour out drink offerings unto her without our men.
Without our men. These women were out of order, man. They were out of order doing these wicked things, man. What does the Most High say? What is the instruction that the Most High give us? Then we get Exodus 20 and 3. Because there was an order from the beginning.
That's
There
right.
was a certain order, there was a certain law, there was a certain statute that the Most High made clear. But y'all want to make sacrifices to the Queen of Heaven instead of the Most High God. Read.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 28, verse 3. And thou shalt speak unto all that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garments.
It's like it, brother. It's Exodus 20, verse 3.
20, verse 3.
And this is a commandment that the Most High gave us, man. Read.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Man, let me put Ishtar before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Read.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Read.
That thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
He's still visiting the iniquities of our forefathers, man. to the third and fourth generation. So we still pay from the sins of our forefathers. Read on.
Verse 6, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
That's
That's
right.
right. But y'all want to go pay homage to the Queen of Heavens, Easter, aka Easter. Not knowing, then that's what you're paying homage to it. When the Most High God, when the Most High clearly told us, I think it's just a little sprinkle. We don't let this stop the word of the God, man.
Come.
little sprinkle dangle.
Yeah, but I just don't want that.
Yeah, no, we got it. Right? We have to cover it, then we cover it. And we cry aloud. Because he told us not to worship other gods. The Most High God is a jealous God, man. But y'all want to go join Islam. Y'all want to go follow Caesar Borgia,
God.
a.k.a. White Christ.
AKA White Christ. I like that one.
Foolishness, man. Foolishness.
Sky's starting to leak.
Foolishness. There's no one besides the Most High God. Let me get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 30. Start at verse 35.
They said this afternoon, yeah. Gonna rain
I
all
just don't
day.
want the cameras to get wet. That's all.
Alright, y'all start the thing.
We still out here, man.
Well, at least
Rain
we're
can't
preaching the
stop.
word.
Rain can't
And you know
stop what
what's
we doing,
funny?
man.
Probably some of these fake Christians are gonna try to preach tomorrow, and it's gonna rain all day.
That's right. Bring it out.
That's not gonna work.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 34. Or hath God essayed to go
Start at 35, brother.
unto thee, it was showed that thou mayest know that the Lord, He is God, and there is none else beside Him. He
What was that? Read.
unto thee, it was showed that thou mightest know that the Lord, He is God, and there is no else beside Him.
There's no one else beside him. Read.
That the Lord, He is God, and there is none beside Him. Out of the heaven He made thee hear His voice, that He might instruct thee, and upon the earth He showed thee His great fire, and that thou heardest His voice out of the midst of the fire. Verse 37, and because
Stop right there. And out of heaven, let me get the Bible. Let me see that. And out of heaven, He made thee to hear His voice, that His great fire, and thou hearest His words out of the midst of fire. He's talking to us. He's giving us His instructions, man. That's what this word is for. He's giving us the word, so we can have the proper understanding. Hop down to 39.
verse 39. Know therefore this day and consider it in thy heart, that the Lord, He is Yahweh, in heaven above and upon the earth beneath. There is none else.
There is none else but the Most High God. Read.
Thou shalt keep therefore His statutes and His commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee and with thy children after these, and that thou mightest prolong thy days upon the earth, which the Lord giveth thee forever.
The Lord gave us this forever. He gave us these laws, statutes, and commandments to follow them forever.
That's right.
Until this earth is gone, man. Forever. Forever, man. But y'all still want to be playing games, man. Let me get the book of Psalms, chapter 96.
96 and 1.
Because y'all following the ways of the heathens.
96 and 1.
Give me Jeremiah 10 and 2. Psalms 96. And then give me Jeremiah 10 and 2. Psalms 96 and 5. Because y'all following the ways of the heathens, man. Praising other idols, praising other gods, man. Celebrating Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. The Most High said He hates and despises your feast days.
That's right.
That's right.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
No, learn the ways of the other nations.
Learn not the way of the heathen.
No, learn the way of the white man.
Learn not the way of the heathen. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them. Verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain.
They're pointless. All these other customs are pointless, people. We need to stop following these vain traditions, these pointless things. Read.
For one cutting a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe.
Sounds familiar, man. Sounds like a Christmas tree to me. But that's another topic. We'll get around Christmas time for that. But we're gonna focus on the so-called Easter.
That's right.
But either way, do not follow the ways of the heathen. Do not follow the ways of the other nations. We need to go back to our traditions, back to our customs, to the ways of the Most High God. The high holy days, the Shabbat, the Passover, the feast of the first fruits, the feast of dedication. Let me get Psalms 96 and 5.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 96, verse 5.
Because this is what everybody else is doing. Ready?
For all the gods of the nations are idols.
For all the gods of the nations are what?
For all the gods of the nations are idols. But the Lord made the heavens.
The Most High God made the heavens. Read.
Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary.
Strength and beauty are his sanctuary. Why the hell are we following Easter? Paying homage to another God when the Most High God is a jealous God. We need to get it together, right, Israel?
Right.
Y'all getting ready to cut up that Easter ham. Y'all getting ready for all sorts of ridiculousness.
Ridiculousness.
Crazy, man. Because what does Colossians 2 and 8 say? Let me get Colossians 2 and 8.
So far, you got it. It's just at the back. All right, I got it.
Colossians 2 and 8. Acts 12. Let me go to Acts 12. Acts 12 and 1. Let me start from the top. Because you are following vain traditions. Traditions of men. Your parents are supposed to tell you you're not supposed to celebrate this holiday, man.
That's right.
Your parents are supposed to be teaching you the simple laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. But it's teaching you that you got to tithe.
That's right.
And now they're out of work right now. For once, pastors are laid off and they ain't making any money. That's why they're online talking about you got to tithe through Cash App.
TD Jake's going crazy. So they're getting paid for free now.
They're getting paid for free. We're out here doing the work for free. Don't save the Lord, man.
That's right. That's right.
Now you want to donate something, that's on y'all.
Get freely, get freely. That's right.
Creflo ain't paying golf now.
But y'all paying 10% of your tithes, having your pastors make you feel guilty while y'all paying their mortgages, their lavish lifestyles, their planes, the luxury cars. They're a bunch of damn devils, man.
That's true.
Conning the people. You've been bamboozled, man.
That's right.
No, but the pastor gave me a blessing. I had to give him some money. You don't need to give him nothing, man. Your blessings is in this Bible.
That's right.
Amen.
The instructions in this Bible.
But the Lord will give you an increase. The devil can't.
Preaching to that prosperity doctrine. Preaching to that prosperity doctrine, at the end of the day, you're broke.
That's right.
You're broke.
The only increase you're going to get is the debt you're in.
That's right. Colossians 2 and 8.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8.
That's right.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophies and vain deceit.
No, that I should be celebrating Easter.
Through philosophies and vain deceits.
Now celebrate all these holidays.
through philosophies and vain deceits.
Yo, no, man, get ready for that Easter hymn, that pork.
Through philosophies and vain deceits.
Read on.
After the tradition of men.
No, the traditions of God.
After the tradition of men.
Read on.
After the rudiments of the world and not of Yahushua HaMashiach.
That's
You're
right.
following the rudiments of this wicked-ass world, but not after Christ.
Come on.
Christ even kept the Passover, not Easter. And y'all still want to be wicked as hell, man. Following the traditions of man and vain deceits. Pointless things, man. It's sad. It's sad what our people is going through, man. Sad what our people is going through. But y'all want to say Easter's in the Bible, though. Easter's in the Bible. It's on the Bible. You only see it in the Bible once. Go to the book of Acts, chapter 12, verse 1.
Let's go.
But the Bible says Easter. The Bible says Easter. Let's get the understanding of that. Read on.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 12, verse 1. Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands,
Herod the king, which is an Edomite, read.
stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church.
Read.
And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword.
That wicked bastard killed James with the sword.
And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread.
The days of what?
Unleavened bread.
The Passover, read.
And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people.
After Easter, to bring him towards the people. Now let's go to the Zondervan Bible Dictionary to find out the definition of Easter.
I wish they had an app on that. Zondervan Bible.
Oh, that's perfect.
What's the other one? Yo, Lou, what's that paper that I had you to keep in your Bible?
Yeah,
Go ahead and find out. Come get it from me, bro.
This is the paper you gave me?
yeah, paper again.
Oh, the paper you gave me.
Because they say that, you see, Easter's in the Bible, but let's get the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. We're gonna give you two different ones.
This is a Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Easter, in parentheses, Passover.
What?
Passover. Rendered Easter in lated Passover in Acts 12 and 4. King James.
We just read that. We just read that in Acts 12:4. Read.
But correctly translated Passover.
Passover, not Easter. Easter. Read.
The day on which the church celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Easter is celebrated on the first Sunday after the full moon following the vernal equinox. The date of Easter varies between March 22nd and April 25th.
Sound familiar? We were just reading that information that the brother brought out. The first spring of the equinox. You're giving homage to the Queen of Easter. The Queen Easter. The goddess of fertility and sex.
That's right.
God.
Now let's bring that out on the definition of Easter in the Vine's Expository Dictionary of New Testament Words. Wait.
This is Easter in the Vine's Expository Dictionary of New Testament Words. Easter. This is in the Mistral. G3957 is Pasha.
Pascua, read.
Mistranslated Easter in Acts 12 and 4 denotes the Passover. The phrase after the Passover signifies after the whole festival was at an end. The term Easter is not of Christian origin.
What?
The term Easter is not of Christian origin. It is another form of Arstat, one of the titles of the Chaldean goddess, the Queen of Heaven.
Astarte, one of the titles of the Chaldean goddess, the Queen of Heaven. Read.
The festival of Pesach, held by Christians, is post-apostolic times, was a continuation of the Jewish feast, but was not instituted by Christ.
What?
But was not instituted by Christ.
It wasn't instituted by Christ. Read on.
Nor was it connected with Lent.
With Lent, with a bunch of Catholics is gonna be celebrating Lent, Good Friday, all that foolishness. Read.
From this, Pesach, the pagan festival of Easter, was quite distinct and was introduced into the apostate Western religion as part of the attempt to adapt pagan festivals to Christianity.
As part to attempt to adapt pagan festival to Christianity. That's what y'all so-called Christians are celebrating, man. Christian you should be a follower of Christ. But you're celebrating Easter, man. No precept.
Well, it's not really a precept, but there's also another source that you can look into. It's a volume of books called The History of Christianity. You want to look for volume 3. It explains how Constantine helped to implement those pagan adaptations for the Roman citizens.
That's right, Constantine, which was what, the emperor?
Emperor.
Right, emperor who constituted also Sunday worship as well, which he knew the real Sabbath as well.
And it was written by a German author named Philip Schaff. He was a noted theological scholar and well respected in that community. He was a German. Schaff, Schaff. So you can do that research on your own.
So the crazy part is, right, that now you know the truth. Now that you know where Easter comes from, now you know its dark origins, right? Y'all still want to celebrate it.
That's right.
Y'all want to bring your excuses and say, oh, but it's for the kids. It's for the kids. Oh no, it's for our families to get together and feast. Let me get Amos 5:21, because let's see what the Most High says about these feast days. And first of all, you shouldn't be teaching your kids all these lies.
That's right.
You should be training your kids to follow the Most High God.
That's right.
Let me get Proverbs 22:6, because a lot of y'all use that excuse that it's for the kids. You're sending your kids straight to hell, man.
25, you said?
You're pretty much getting your kids ready to sacrifice them to the Queen of Heaven, man. Amos 5:21. And let me get, before we go to that, let's go to Proverbs 22:6. Y'all lying to your kids. Lying to your kids, telling them, oh, when it comes to the time of Christmas time, lying to them that Santa Claus is coming. I mean, Satan Claus is coming. Giving them all bulled off lies, man. Lying to your own children. And then when they find out that everything's a lie, they get mad at you. Read that.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Read that again.
Train up a child in the way he should go.
Train up your kids in the way they should go by following the Most High, by teaching them these laws, by teaching them these statutes, by teaching them the customs, the traditions that we're supposed to follow. Read.
That's right.
And when he is old,
and when that child grows up to be older,
he will not depart from it.
He will not depart from it. Y'all teaching your kids all these vain philosophies, all these fake religions, all these fake things, and then they depart. They don't want to know nothing about the Most High God. That's because most of your parents ain't getting right with the Most High God. You're not aligning yourself up with the Most High God.
That's right.
Teaching them bullshit.
That's right.
Excuse my French.
That's right.
But this is part of the oppression that we've been through.
That's right.
This is the oppression that Christianity has brought upon us from our oppressors, from those who have conquered us, from those that continue to step all over us, to walk all over us. But we're not going to let that happen no more, man. Because we are the soldiers of the Most High God. We are the Israelites. We are awoken to the truth now.